August 26th, 2022. This is an update on what appears to be an 1868 Victorian desk. It's a walnut desk with burl walnut, as you can see. So the prior video showed the original piece unrestored with the original finish, what was left of it. And I'll go over the steps that I took to get it into this current condition. It really came out good. A few little tricks that I'll kind of review so as not to make any tragic mistakes. So, again, I was conservative with the work that I did, but it all came out great. So one thing I found was, I think you can see that there, 68 was stamped on the back of this. And interestingly enough, what's called the knapp dovetailing machine, it creates this very unique dovetail. It was patented in 1867, 1 year before the 68 stamp on the back of this desk. So I'm curious whether or not this was actually built in 1868, that is. It'd be my guess, because it's really a very straightforward piece. So let's just talk about the originality. Very rare to see this top piece intact. Very rare to find the original key. And even this little piece here, this little button, normally falls off. And I've got three of them, three original ones, so that's pretty cool. The original teardrop pulls, which is also very cool. And the lock mechanism. And of course, this knapp dovetail. These buttons sometimes are missing. Got buttons on both sides. The center burl walnut piece is intact. The only thing that's missing is this bottom lock mechanism, which I found one on eBay, and I'm 90% sure that it's correct for the piece, so that'll be here in a week. Decided on green felt, so I have a piece on order that we'll put in here. Finish the interior walnut part. You can see here that there's a 1/4 inch strip of walnut that faces off this piece. So let's talk about the steps. A few little tricks. Number one, lacquer thinner. What I did is I applied a generous coat of lacquer thinner to the original walnut wood, and the purpose was to sort of soak it down a little bit. Used a cloth to put it on, let it set for a little while, wiped it off, and then went to the next step, lacquer thinner and this 4/0 steel wool. That was very instrumental in keeping the nice smooth finish, but also removing all of the old original finish on the piece so that it could accept the Danish oil. And again, if you watch phase one, I kind of go over that, but this worked really good. Watco Danish oil. Actually wound up doing 3 coats, giving 1 day in between each coat. to make sure that it dried. And during the drying process, any excess material that was on the surface of the wood, I wiped down. The other little thing that worked well is using a very simple brush here to be able to go in to all the cracks and crevices of every piece to make sure that we got the Danish oil in there, because it's very hard to do it with a cloth. So that little brush helped a lot, as well as being able to get all these pieces of the finial. You know, there were little white spots here and there that I couldn't get unless I used that small brush. So that worked well. Okay, 3 coats of the Danish oil. I basically used a simple cotton cloth to apply it. It worked well. It's possible to do too much too quickly, so I gave it a day in between so it would dry. And again, I sort of touched it up during the day in the areas that there was a lot of surface oil, to make sure that there wasn't too much and it didn't get sticky. In between, after the steel wool and the lacquer thinner, before the oil, I used a tack cloth to get any dust off the surface of the wood. Okay, then after 3 coats of the oil, I went to this Amish wood milk, which is kind of a sealer. And again, from the phase 1 video, there were a lot of water stains on this on the walnut, and as you can see, there's absolutely no stains, and again, no scratches. Easy to overdo it. Don't sand. Use 4/0 steel wool. And so far I have 2 coats of this Amish wood milk on the wood, and I'm going to do 1 more coat. But this is very, 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 very smooth. And one of the objectives here was to get lots of grain showing. Here's the sides. A little light on there. Of course, to the insides. So 20 or 30 years ago, I used to go to auctions and buy antique furniture, refinish it, put it in the house, then find something better, bring the piece that I'd refinished to an auction, and it wound up being just a continual upgrade process. Things have changed now. Furniture like this is not as popular, although I think this will be very popular because of its size. It's about 50 inches tall, 26 inches wide, 18 inches deep. Okay, so if anyone watching this has a clue about this stamp that's on the back, 68, I'm assuming that this might be year 1 of when the knapp dovetailing patent was approved. And again, this is a productivity and quality improvement over the existing way to do dovetails for drawers. Supposedly increase the throughput fourfold from, I read, 100 drawers a day to 400 drawers a day. So that's it. That's phase 2, and I think we're done. I'm going to put the felt on and get ourselves a nice piece. Thanks for looking.